Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Wednesday, the 31st of January. The year flying in already. Of course, as well as that, the transfer window is nearing an end. Thursday at midnight it ends, and there is plenty to discuss. All things Rangers, both potential incomings and possible outgoings as well. To join me on today's show is Chris Jack. How are we doing, Chris?
Not too bad, Derek. Still choked with the cold, unfortunately. Been a difficult couple of days. I think if I had a deadline day busting move, I would fail the medical as it stands. So thankfully nobody else has come in for me, and my heart is with the Rangers Review anyway, obviously. So I've not been feeling that great this week, but now hopefully we're almost at the end. I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to come on the meeting on Monday morning, and thankfully there's going to be some football to actually talk about rather than ins and outs. But no, it's been a busy old month, a busy couple of days. So we're almost at the end of it now.
Yeah, easy to forget. Rangers have got a game against Livingston at the weekend to look forward to, but it's all about transfers at this moment in time. Before we talk transfers, folks, just a quick word for our podcast sponsor. You can see on the screen if you are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and now Instagram Live. A fair few of you watching on that platform. The MPH Group, fantastic guys. If you want some home improvements or even a new boiler, then they've got a brilliant promotion on for boilers. They've got great deals, flexible finance options, you name it. The all-important links are in the description below, so do go and check them out if that is something you're thinking of. Right, we'll start with potential departures. First of all, Chris, news yesterday emerging of a number of players and interest in the likes of Cyril Dessers, Jack Butland, Rabiot Matondo was another one. Late last night, reports over in Italy, Gianluca Di Marzio, the transfer journalist over there in Italy, has reported that Hellas Verona and Torino are keen to sign Cyril Dessers. Verona is said to hold a strong interest in the player. Torino believe to be keeping Dessers in their thoughts if they can't sign their number one target, Rafa Mir. This is an intriguing one. I've seen a bit of reaction on social media on it, Chris. We've been discussing Dessers in the last few videos about how he's turned around his Rangers career, and now he's banging the goals in and how much he's improved under Philippe Clement. I don't want to see him leave, I've got to admit. I can understand why clubs in Serie A are interested in him. Of course, he played there for Cremonese, and I imagine he would do a turn for those two teams. Dessers, though, I don't think Rangers can afford to lose him, given the fact that there's not much in the way of reinforcements there at this moment in time.
No. Philippe Clement said a couple of months ago he's not a magician. He's turned Dessers from a guy who Rangers fans would have driven to any corner of the world into someone who we're now saying that we can't afford to sell him. It's quite a turnaround. I think if this had been earlier in the window, if this had been a week, 10 days into it, I think it would have been a different conversation for Rangers. I think you then look at whatever package is potentially on the table and you say we can maybe do something. Right now, with 36 hours, whatever it is, looking at Sky, get a countdown on it. I think it becomes very, very difficult for Rangers. It has gone slightly quieter in terms of striker links over the last couple of days, and I would be surprised unless it's silly money on the table for Dessers or for anyone. I don't see Rangers doing that much. Obviously, the Ridvan situation is one that's been bubbling on for almost the entirety of the transfer window, but I think come the summer there's a conversation to be had on Dessers. Has he contributed enough? Has he justified the outlay? Has he been part of a successful Rangers team? He's one of the guys whose future is very much going to be up for debate come the end of the season. With a couple of days to go of the window, I just don't think Rangers can afford to do it. But we're still trying to find out if there is actually anything in these links. I don't know if Rangers have had any official approaches, if there's been any bids, or if it is just a bit of agent talk and a bit of transfer rumours. Because obviously it's been a busy month for that type of thing. The next couple of days it's going to ramp up even more. So if we actually get anything firm on Dessers in terms of interest or a bid, obviously we'll do we'll have that on the site, and we'll have it on the social channels later on. So it's I think it's one to keep on the back burner. It's one to keep in mind, but I'd be surprised if it went anywhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some comments coming in just off the back of it. There's one that popped in. John Robertson just was saying Dessers is banging the goals in. Sorry, Dessers isn't banging the goals in. 3 goals in 3 is banging the goals in. Chris, is that banging the goals in?
We're now at the splitting hair stage of the transfer window. Whatever terminology you want to use, you can definitely say he's a man in form. I think his goal contribution under the manager in general is very, very good. And again, we've had this conversation a number of times over the course of the season of how good he is, whether he's worth the fee. Is he a Rangers number 9? Is he a first choice? Is he a third choice? Should he not be at the club at all? Fact is, over the last couple of weeks, he's been very important to Rangers. Now, his goal down at Dumbarton didn't really affect the outcome of it, but it was good to see him get it. Came at an important time of the game. The league ones have been important. His one at the weekend was very important. So I think he's definitely turned his form around. I know he spoke after scoring at Easter Road last week about the relationship with the fans, and obviously having a song for the first time. So he might, whether he's banging the goals in, whether he's in fine form, whether he's on a purple patch, whatever other scoring football cliche you used to use. Right now, he's very important for Rangers because he's the striker that is actually putting the ball in the back of the net. We still don't know how good Fabio Silva is at that fact, and also we wait to see if Rangers do move to bring in another striker over the next couple of days. So I think that the Dessers one will probably spark a bit of debate. It'll keep people talking over the course of the day. But I think it would take a lot of pieces to fall into place, both in football and financial terms, for that to happen. You also have to consider whether he fancies it himself. Now he's had a difficult start to his Rangers career. He spoke about that earlier on in the season, but as I mentioned, he's now had his song aired at Easter Road. He had the acclaim of the away fans at St Mirren. He got the nod over Fabio Silva for that game at St Mirren and repaid the manager's faith. So he might think, well, I'm actually onto something here. I quite like it in Glasgow. I'm settled. I'm in a team that's already won a trophy, potentially going to win the league. We've got European football to look forward to. Why do I want to, especially for a guy who has moved around quite a lot in his career, certainly in the last couple of years? At some point, players just want to settle down, play football for a couple of seasons and try and win some trophies. You get the impression that Dessers is maybe at that stage of his life. He's been in different countries, he's experienced big clubs, he's experienced European football elsewhere. There's a lot to like about playing for Rangers, as difficult as it can be when things are not going well, and he certainly knows that. Playing football for Rangers is a great thing, and you might find he's actually quite happy here, and he's quite enjoying himself. So I don't think it's just a case of, well, a couple of Serie A teams fancy it, right, big man, pack your bags, undo all that good work you've done on your IKEA furniture that you spoke about at the start of the season, and take it with you. It's not quite as simple as that, especially at this late stage of the window.
Yeah, and he's certainly Philip Clement getting a tune out of him, and it looks like he's enjoying his football as well. Denzel said, just in the striking situation, says regarding Dessers, it's bad enough as it is. We really need another striker, not lose the only fit one we have. We've been here before, not least the Europa League final. Need a striker, and that seems to be the view echoed by many in the comments. Another player that is we've seen a bit of noise yesterday of clubs interested is shock horror Jack Butland. Rangers have issued a hands-off warning to any potential suitors. It's believed that Nottingham Forest are the club that were testing the water, shall we say, and trying to entice Jack back down south. There's no doubt about it. He has been a revelation since signing in the summertime from Crystal Palace. I think we're all resigned to the fact that Jack Butland will move on at some point. Chris, he can't move on in this window.
No, quite simply, it's out of all the names that have been put to us, out of all the rumours that we've had to try and substantiate over the last 31 days or so, that's the clearest one of all. Rangers cannot afford to sell Jack Butland. If Rangers sell Jack Butland, they don't win the league. It's as simple as that. I can understand why teams down south fancy him, because he's been in sensational form. We spoke to him after the game in Paisley at the weekend, and also talking about his England aspirations potentially. I know we spoke about that earlier on in the week. For me, he's definitely in that conversation, and he should be in that conversation. For me, he's definitely in the, or should be definitely in the running to get a place in that squad. But before that, Rangers have a title to win, they've got a Scottish Cup to win, they've got European games to go and play, and Butland has been a huge part of that journey so far, and he will be a huge part of that going forward. So the answer from Rangers last night was as firm a no as you can get. Butland will not be sold during the next a couple of days or so. Come the summer, I think it's maybe a different conversation. If someone puts enough money on the table, then I think the fee for him could go a long way to allowing the manager to do a lot of work on the squad. But I think that's something that Rangers have almost been resigned to since they signed him. When he came up here on a free, he didn't immediately jump out as here's one of the transfer model wins, here's one of the buy low, sell high. But really, it should have been, because if you look at his profile and you look at his quality over the course of the season so far, there's definitely a huge profit to be made in Jack Butland. Especially, I think when you add in the English tax, if you like, the English clubs always pay slightly more for English players. The prices will be inflated slightly when it goes down to that league. So there's no way that Rangers can afford to sell him right now. They won't sell him right now. Come the summer, unfortunately, I think it will be a different conversation. But again, like Dessers, I think, as I've said on Jack before, is he enjoying himself up here? No, he's played Premier League, he's played at Old Trafford, he's gone to the Emirates, he's had cup runs, he's played for his country. At some point, he just wants to play regularly, week after week after week, for a big club in front of good fans, and try and win things. He's not picked up enough medals over the course of his career, and if it's not money orientated, and that's not a driver for him, well, the next couple of seasons could potentially give him all the things in his career that he's not actually done yet. So again, I think it's not as easy as saying, well, it's the Premier League, why wouldn't you want to go and play in the Premier League? Well, if you already have played in the Premier League and you've already had all those experiences, why not just enjoy the one that's a bit different and the one that you've actually signed up for? So I don't think it'd be as easy as saying he will definitely go in the summer, but I think we will have to have a more in-depth conversation on it over the summer, especially if teams start putting big money on the table for him.
Yep, Jock with the point, and I totally agree with Jock here. He says Forest not big enough club for Butland. He won't win anything with them. Can't see him going there. I watched him, reported on a number of times when he was at Stoke City in the Premier League, so I can't see the attraction there. No disrespect to any Forest fans that like to tune in to the show every morning, but absolutely a step down. I can't see that move materialising whatsoever. A few comments coming in saying, what would you take for Jack Butland? Scott Galbraith says, would you take 6 million for him? Absolutely not. I would triple that before we start getting round the table. JDS says, unless it's 15 to 20 million on the table, Butland stays. If we're using the Onana-ometer, Chris, then I'm wanting big money for him when he eventually does depart.
This is one of these questions where there is no right answer, and no matter what number I pick out the top of my head here, people are not going to be happy. Whoever said 6, I think it's safe to say I could rule.
I don't know if that's Ross Wilson's alias, perhaps.
No, that will not be happening. 6 billion is nowhere near. It's safe to say that. I think, like JD says there, I think 15 to 20 is roughly where we're looking. Ideally more than 20, and I don't think that's being unrealistic whatsoever. Now, you look at a player who's in the prime of his career, who's playing at an excellent level, great experiences, ticks a lot of boxes, especially for English clubs. I'm sure there's a few directors of football and scouting departments down south kicking themselves somewhat. A few questions being asked in boardrooms saying, well, why didn't we sign him last year when we had the chance? Or why, when we knew his contract was coming to an end, also had that loan at Manchester United? Why did we not make that move there? How did Rangers manage to beat us to a Jack Butland in the best years of his career? They did do, thankfully. Also, time will tell how important that proves to be in terms of our aspirations this season. But come the come the summer, I think you're looking at certainly a record sale for Rangers, potentially a record sale for Scottish football as well. The bidding does not start low on Jack Butland.
Craig Gordon, the most expensive goalkeeper, 9 million, I think he went from Hearts to Sunderland back in the day. So I can expect Rangers to get that and then some when Butland eventually leaves. Let's hope he doesn't, and he loves it so much at Ibrox that he doesn't want to move on. Another player, there was a bit of noise yesterday, Chris. It was sort of shot down. Reports over in Germany suggesting that Rabiot could be potentially heading to Mainz on loan. That was according to the German media outlet Bild. But that's not believed to be the case.
No, nothing in that one as far as we're aware. Again, he is someone who I think there will be a conversation over come the summer. I think we'll be able to sit down and assess a couple of seasons at Ibrox then and determine is he part of the manager's plans going forward? Does he look the part? Has he contributed enough? We've seen wee flashes from Rabiot. We've seen wee spells. You think there might be something there. Other spells we think, well, there's nothing there at all, or he's not worth a place in the squad. I don't think he's someone who there'll be a huge clamour to hold on to from a fan perspective. But second half of the season, certainly with Osasima being injured, the next few weeks and few months do give him a chance to almost earn his place in the squad next season. But again, it's not something that we believe is going to happen over the next couple of days. That one was shot down fairly swiftly yesterday, so no interest or no potential exit for Rabi.
Yeah. Okay, folks. That is well. Cifuentes is the other one. Yesterday, by all accounts, reports suggesting that move is close. It is switched to Cruzeiro over there in Brazil. That one we are expecting to go through at some point. So yeah, we'll keep you up to date, folks, with any news of potential departures as they come in today. It may be a busy day, who knows? In terms of incomings, Williams says, when can we expect announcements? Notice the fans are getting a bit restless, Chris. Of course, over the weekend, we heard that Yefte and Oscar Cortez were identified. Rangers were closing in on moves for both. I seen an Instagram post from Oscar yesterday after the image he posted up of enjoying himself at a salmon dinner in what looked like a hotel room. He was then asking for a barber's over in Paris, I think it was, and folk were saying, oh, he's just getting a nice new trim for his unveiling video. Is there any updates on both?
Updates on the Hefty are slow at present. I've asked a couple of times on that one, not really got anywhere, so can't really provide anything definitive on that one. Unfortunately, of course, I will ask again over the course of the day, and if I get anything, also just keep an eye on my own and the channel, and also our social media platforms and the site. We'll try and bring an update to you as quickly as we can. On Cortez, it's something the club are really working hard on. They're keen to get him in. I actually spoke to a couple of people over in Colombia about him to get a bit more of an insight into his backstory and also what he can potentially bring to Rangers. So that piece will be on the site as soon as it's signed and sealed. Obviously, Josh had his scouting report on the site yesterday. So even though we don't have an announcement video to watch, there's plenty of Cortez content if that takes your fancy over the next couple of days to help pass the time. But that's what the Rangers are working hard on, and I think that should get done. In terms of actual announcements, as always, these things are very much in the hands of the club. We've seen the videos getting put out, or pictures being put out at 5 to midnight, saying, "Oh, we'll beat the deadline," and then you look at the video and the guy sitting in the changing room, and it's bright sunshine outside, and it's clearly been taken 12 hours earlier. So these things are always very much at the hands of the club. But hopefully over the next few hours, and certainly by close of play today, we'll know roughly what deadline day is going to bring for Rangers, both in terms of the incomings and the outgoings.
Yeah, just a reminder, folks, we do have a marathon deadline day show to come on Thursday, kicking off at 9 p.m. We're on for around about 3 hours. Myself, Chris, Joshua, Johnny, and Stevie will be on, hopefully getting a few special guests as well join us throughout the course of the evening. It will be solely on YouTube, so we hope you can join us for that one. Just on Cortez as well. It's an interesting one. I'm surprised Lons are letting him go after just buying them in the summertime for €4 million. They got him from Millonarios over in Colombia. Hasn't quite worked for him, but Lucas Collin, the Lons podcaster, I spoke to on the YouTube video, folks. He said that he's ice cold in the box, so calm, and he's someone that the Rangers fans will get to love very quickly. So he's certainly saying all the right words. That Lons fans certainly wanted to see more of him, but he edging closer to that Rangers move. So as Chris said, folks, keep your eyes peeled on the social media accounts, the website, and the YouTube channel for all the latest on that. There was an interesting point that came in. Well, first of all, we'll address this. Dane Live says, is there a presser today, lads? No, it will be Friday, buddy, where Philip Clement will hopefully be speaking about a few new arrivals. One such new arrival visited Ibrox yesterday, Chris, and Mohamed Diamande. Got to see, I loved that picture of him back in the day wearing an old Rangers jersey. Quite incredible how things work out, isn't it? But he seems to have been forgotten about a little bit with all the focus turning to Hefty and Cortez. But he is certainly one looking forward to seeing in a Rangers jersey. I know they're waiting for international clearance and his visa. I think that's all sorted out now, isn't it? Will he be? Do you think we'll see him on Saturday?
It is always the way of the transfer window. No matter what update you provide, the first reply is always who's next and what's happening with. We've just spent £4.5 million on a highly rated midfielder. But what's next? It's like a kid at Christmas morning. They unwrap something, look at it, throw it away, and then it's on to the next one. You unwrap it, look at it, throw it away, on to the next one. The transfer window has felt like that a few times over the last couple of weeks. Hopefully he's okay and everything's in place for him to make his debut at the weekend. Certainly be part of the squad. Rangers had a fitness coach over in Copenhagen with him since last week. Also there in their break time as well. So just a case of going through some of the emotions, trying to get him back up to speed. He will be naturally shorter of fitness and sharpness compared to the other members of the squad that have been playing a bit more regularly. But he's here for long term. He's here to make an immediate impact, if possible, be someone that Rangers feel can really contribute over the coming season. So if he doesn't make it on Saturday against Livy, Aberdeen game next Tuesday looks like an ideal chance to give him a real taste of Scottish football. And then also there's a number of really important games coming up for Rangers over the coming weeks. So he's someone who's going to have a big part to play. The manager addressed last week when we spoke to him some of the qualities, some of the things he will bring to the squad. Again, Josh has had a scouting report. I know he's got a big piece on his background coming as well. I think a lot of that focuses on his time at the Right to Dream Academy. Obviously, a great setup that's given opportunities to so many young players over the years. They've also got that tie-in with Northland. And he's one of the ones that's really benefited from that, and that's where that Rangers shirt picture comes from. As you say, Derek, it's quite something that only a few years ago he's tried to make his way in the game. He's tried to establish himself. He's coming through, ends up wearing the Rangers strip, and then his first really big move into European football, £4.5 million, long-term contract, and it's the Rangers shirt that he's pulled on once again. So it is quite something, quite a tale, and I'm sure whenever we get a chance to speak to him, it'll certainly be one of the first couple of questions. I'd be interested to know how that came about. I've not actually seen the back of it. I don't know if he had a name and a number on the back of it.
I'm thinking Diouf or something like that on the back of it. I had Diouf in the back of one of the tops. Loved El Hadji. So either Diouf, Bagheera maybe, who big African players at that point for Rangers. Don't think he's got Kurt Broadfoot in the back, Chris.
Well, you never know. Kurt might have been big back in Ghana back in the day. Who knows? I said once we finally got a chance to speak to Mohamed over the next couple of days, hopefully. I don't know when his first actual presser will be, but hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to him and do a nice piece on him. And we'll certainly try to find out some of these details, because he's someone that has got a really interesting backstory, and hopefully he's got a really successful future.
Yeah, Alan Brown says Ndiaye, Mactor Ndiaye, of course, one of Le Guen's acquisitions at the time. Didn't spend long under Bolter, I'm sure. Billy Middleton says he had Namucci on the back. Incidentally, a funny story on Namucci. I actually have is when Rangers played Porto, that 1-1 draw, Ross McCormack scored the equaliser. It was on there's an online auction site, folks, called Julian's, and I get email alerts now and again saying there's sporting memorabilia auctions taking place. So I went on one Saturday evening, just having a look at things, and up pops the boy, Porto player, I can't remember his name for the life of me, holding a Hamid Namucci jersey that he exchanged during that 1-1 draw. So I was like, I'm getting my hands on this. Bid $50. No one else bid. Shock horror. So the shirt was mine, so it's nestled in my home. It's not been taken out the wrapper yet, but I might do that. I might even put it on. Who knows? Just to feel what it was like to be Hamid Namucci at the Dragao Stadium on that Champions League evening back in 2005. So there's a blast from the past there. Right, let's get on to some more pressing matters. Shona says, the window closes after midnight tonight. It's tomorrow at 11:30, Shona. So we'll be on it at 9 p.m. The deadline day show kicking off at 9. Test video. We may as well discuss it, Chris. He says, boys, you need to mention Shankland before you go. It's a daily ritual. And just on the back of that, Macca, with the point, what do you think about Shankland being given tonight as a deadline to sign a new contract? This is Hearts have offered Lorm Shankland a second offer to ensure that he stays at Tynecastle. It's an increase in his wages and an additional 2 years on his deal. They have given him a deadline of tonight, which is interesting to say the least. Of course, it comes amid speculation that he could be moving, and we've discussed Lorm Shankland at length on a number of videos this month, Chris. Seems a bit weird, a deadline. Is that a strange one for you?
I'm not really sure what Hearts think they're going to achieve by it, because if Rangers or any other club bid for Shankland, Hearts have then got a decision to make. If no one bids for him, then clearly they don't. If he decides that he wants to move, then that can also influence their decision. I don't really get what they think they're going to achieve by saying that you're our captain, you're our top scorer, you're our prized asset, sign within the next 24 hours, or what's the alternative? Is it or what we're going to sell you? It seems a bit of a strange tactic from Hearts. Also, they would love to keep him. I've also spoken the last few weeks about them going for third place in the Premiership, what that means financially. I think probably even without Shankland, I think they could probably finish third. You'd imagine also if there's a fee for him, Stephen Naismith can then reinvest it and get another striker in. You would imagine Hearts are going to be good enough to finish third. But no, it seems a bit strange that that's how they're playing it this close to the deadline. But come Friday morning, when Shankland is either a Rangers player or he's not, whether he's either a Hearts player or he's not, or wherever he's playing his football, hopefully that's the last we can talk about it, because his name has come up just once or twice over the last 30 days or so.
Yeah, not half. And I've got to say, quite comical. I've got to say, I've enjoyed Derek Adams' Mark II since returning to Scottish football, and I enjoyed his comments yesterday. Of course, Hearts looking to sign Jan and Danda from Ross County, and he was suggesting that Hearts have no money. So there you go. I thought it was quite entertaining, his comments after the game yesterday. Interesting point here, just before we wrap up, Chris, from Blue Eyed Boy says, does Diamande signing signal Lundstrom will leave in the summer? He is on big wages. We expect him to sign a new deal, buddy. That does not signal the end of John Lundstrom, who has been quite simply outstanding since the new manager has come in, Chris. I think he will form part of the manager's plans going forward, unless, of course, he is free to talk to other clubs. He might fancy a change, but we've heard in interviews before how much he loves it at the club, how he wants to end his career at Rangers as well. So I can't see him going anywhere soon.
No, I think the new contract, you don't have timescales on it in terms of the announcement and the confirmation on it. But as far as I'm aware, everything is moving in a positive direction on that, and I think that's one that will get sorted in due time and in due course. I think the manager spoke about it after the cup win at Butland a couple of weeks ago. He said it's a financial thing between the player and the club. It's up to them to now can thrash out a deal. I think he's made it clear that he values John in terms of what he's bringing to the team just now. He clearly thinks he can be part of it going forward. So yes, he is on big wages. He's one of the higher earners at the club. But if the manager feels he's worth a place, and the squad feel that they can get, or the board feel they can get value for money out of him at whatever level that is, then I think he will be a Rangers player. So I think the Deal Monday side doesn't really does it influence the decision on John Lundstrom. That those talks have been ongoing for a long time, and certainly before the Deal Monday deal became a thing, if you like. So the two aren't related, and I think you will see Deal Monday and Lundstrom in the same midfield at the same time just shortly.
Yep, Gaz certainly agrees, as does Alan Kelly as well. David Penny with the point here, he says, be a contradiction giving Lunny a 3-year contract at 29 years of age. Not necessarily sure I'd give him a 3-year deal, perhaps a 1-2-year deal, perhaps with an option of a further year, who knows, but the club and the player in negotiations about extending his deal at Ibrox. Right, folks, that'll do us there. Huge thanks to Chris and to everyone for interacting with the show as ever. It's much appreciated. As Chris mentioned earlier on, lots on the website, transfer stories on there, scouting reports on Cortez to check out, lots on the YouTube channel. As I mentioned when I spoke to the Lawns podcast, and also we had Stell on a couple of days ago speaking about Yefty, so do go and check them out. We will be back at some point, we will be back tomorrow morning if we're not back at some point later on today, so we hope you can join us tomorrow morning on Transfer Deadline Day. Have you got a yellow tie looked out, Chris?
I don't actually have a yellow tie. I've got a few blue ones. I've got an orange one kicking about the house somewhere as well, but I don't have a yellow one. So if you're the main man, if you're leading the coverage tomorrow night, I think we'll let you do that. Go for the yellow tie, the Hamed, the Mucci top, and we'll see no more about it.
Yeah, watch this space, folks. Right, thanks as ever. We'll speak to you again tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye for now.